golf addicts, welcome to the CJ Cup 2021 betting podcast. I'm DB. I got Pat Perry. We are the Tour Junkies, and we are happy, proud, excited to present to you our new presenting sponsor for the betting show, Covers.com. Pumped to be partnered up with Covers.com. It's a big announcement we're making here in the beginning of the show. Tell you a little bit about Covers and what's going to happen there with our relationship with those guys. Really excited about what's to come. All right, there's going to be some new content for you, the listener, the viewer of Tour Junkies, that we're excited to talk about. But Covers, if you don't know what Covers is, they've been around for 25 plus years, like helping a ton of gamblers, a ton of bettors. They serve over 20 million sports bettors annually on just about every possible sport you could think of. NFL, college football, Major League Baseball, all that stuff's there. And Covers.com is where you go to start your betting process. Winning starts at Covers. And we're no better partner than to have our betting show partnered with Covers. And me and Pat are really pumped about it. They've got over 500,000 members in their Covers forum, Pat. 500,000. That's a lot. And
we're a lot of people. A lot of members.
Really so let me tell the listeners, let me give a little background on what happened, and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to be doing for Covers, because it's not just this show. A few weeks back, maybe a couple months back, I was on the podcast, and then I said something about we're looking for one more like substantial partner to help us take it to the next level. And there's actually a listener who has been a listener for over a year, a listener, a reader, a watcher on YouTube. And he is Brandon Debray, who's the editor-in-chief at Covers.com. Great guy, based out of Canada, they are. And he heard the call for the sponsors. And we knew about Covers from doing like football, like looking up college football, NFL lines. It Covers, they'll tell you like where the best odds are and stuff like that. So we had some familiarity with them, but I had no idea that the editor-in-chief was a listener. We had no idea. We hooked up with Brandon, and it was too easy, and it made too much sense. And now for the next entire PGA Tour season plus, Covers is going to be presenting our betting podcast, and we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff with them, a lot of good content. What I'm really excited about, though, Pat, is a new piece of content that we're going to be doing over on Covers' website, on Covers.com, every week, probably late on Tuesday or maybe early on Wednesday. You are going to get an article on Covers.com for free. You don't have to pay anything. It's going to be a free article, and it's going to have some head-to-head betting matchups. We're picking a side, head-to-head matchups that we like, and top 20, and maybe a prop bet that we like as well. And I'm excited about that, because that's not content we're really delivering to you anywhere else. We talk a little bit about top 20s that we have early leans on here in this show, but we don't really narrow it down. The head-to-head betting matchups aren't out by the time we do this, when we do this show, so we really don't get a chance to talk through those. We analyze some of the head-to-head matchups in the Chalk Bomb email, but we don't really nail down who we like, which one we think you should jump on. So that piece of content is going to be for free on Covers.com. You're going to want to look out for it. We'll be tweeting it, putting it on Instagram. It'll be tagged in the Nut Hut as well whenever it hits. Every single week there's a tour event. That article will be there. We couldn't be happier with Covers, and it's an announcement we couldn't wait to make. So we're just going to do it right here on the front end, and thank them, and thank you guys for supporting us. So join, like I said, over 500,000 current sports bettors on Covers.com, and start your research, start the betting process there on Covers.com, and we're happy to have them with us. And then at the end of every betting show, Pat, on this show, we're going to recap our betting picks and kind of give our early leans and like the favorites of the guys we talk about on the betting show, and the names we think you need to jump on now because the number could be shorter if you don't move. And Covers is going to be presenting that as well, and we're proud to do that for them and for the listeners. So really pumped about it, Pat. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to be working with Covers. They are a fantastic group, so it's going to be a great year working with them. By the way, I'm not at like a shady massage parlor. I'm actually I'm in Atlanta. I'm in the ATL. I was at the Braves playoff game today, which they won. And so I'm in a conference room that this lovely hotel let me have. and so it's the
Out to
lighting's kind of
the
weird.
red light special all through the night. In the comments, name who sings that. Name who sings that song. Pat's Red Light Special
Yeah,
in you
I don't know,
tonight?
but if somebody comes in here that looks kind of funky and they start doing like rubbing my shoulders or like don't pay attention, don't worry about it.
Pay no
Don't
attention.
don't worry about it.
We'll go to a single view. We'll just
Yeah, just
Sam.
go to single producer Sam, go to single view of just
Yeah,
DB.
that happens. Yep, Pat's traveling but dedicated. Appreciate the dedication, Holmes, to to the show, bringing all the equipment, hauling all that with you to Atlanta, coming down in a conference room in some basement of some wacky hotel. There you go. My boy Charlie's got it. Of course, Charlie's got it. Charlie's in the live chat. He nailed it. He knows. He knows what's up. He's Team DB. He knows his '90s hip hop and R&B trivia.
Mhm.
I get it. I get it. Yes, thank you, man. Thank you. Props to you for doing your thing. Also, props to you, Pat. While we're giving you props, first PGA Tour winning bet of the season. 3 events in. Mr. Sungjae M was on Pat's. Not that anyone really cares. Betting card this week at 33-1.
But you should have cared this week.
You should have cared. Sungjae gets it done at the Shriners, but with an absolute heater of a Sunday round. Wins by 4 shots. Pat nails him on the betting card. I didn't see a whole lot of people with Sungjae last week. And
No, nobody wanted some Sungjae. Was everybody concerned he was just going to be just going crazy in Vegas? Like, what was the deal with Sungjae?
I didn't really think he was going to be going crazy with Vegas. I don't know what that was. I think everybody was so caught up in a few other names, one of them being Matt Wolff, who finished runner-up, who we actually both – you liked a little more than me on the podcast, but we both agreed on. We actually put him in our DraftKings 2-minute men GPP lineup, and then I wrote him up as a chalk bomb. So there you go.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah, but Sungjae, you hit the bet. Props to you. If you're wondering where you find Pat's Not That Anyone Really Cares betting card, you can find it only in 2 places, on Twitter and in the Nut Hut every Wednesday, late afternoon, early evening. That's where you can find Pat's Not That Anyone Really Cares betting card. He hit a bunch of winners last season, and he's already off to a good start here. You got one up on me for this season, Pat. So props to you.
Thank you.
Also, just want to make sure everybody knows that we've got another European Tour podcast coming out either late Tuesday or early Wednesday. It is the Estrella Dam Andalucia Masters in Spain. Sergio Garcia's won it like 4 or 5 times. He's not the defending champion. He's not there this week. He's here at the CJ Cup. But our boy Mark Hill, resident TJ Euro expert, will be dropping the podcast wherever you listen to our show and on our YouTube channel. So you want to make sure and check that out. Let's see. Other than that, Pat, I think that's it. We've got a brand new golf course this week in the Summit Club. We gave a more comprehensive course breakdown on the DraftKings show. We don't have to get into all that. I guess just tell me what's most important and maybe what are you looking at in terms of, handicapping some of these guys here. Who are you looking at? What kind of golf are you looking for here?
Well, here's the thing. This is, like you mentioned, this is a course we have not seen before on tour at the Summit Club. It's a par 72, just under 7,500 yards. A couple things just to note. This is a 78 player field. There's no cut.
Oh God.
Excuse me.
Call the madam in there if you need a little help with something.
Madam, got some phlegm in the throat. Anyway, you got bent grass greens this week. It's kind of a parkland style golf course. It is a Tom Fazio design this week. You got pretty wide fairways. The bombers, though, are really going to be what I'm looking at. I mean, you got 3 drivable par 4s. All 4 of the par 5s here are you can reach into if you're one of the longer hitters out here. We're at elevation also, so even the shorter hitters have a chance to really be aggressive on this golf course. So I'm definitely looking at scoring stats. I'm looking at strokes gained off the tee. I'm looking at things like birdie or better percentage, par 5 scoring, maybe a little putting on bent grass greens. But look, we saw 24 under win last week for Sungjae M. It's going to be probably at least that this week. I mean, maybe even more, which would be crazy.
Yeah, but I just saw one of the books only had the score at like 21, and I don't think that's right.
Well, I think the weather could be a factor. If they got high winds,
I haven't looked at the weather. I haven't even looked at it.
That could be interesting. I think I've seen some wind that could be an issue, but I don't know yet, and we'll want to get into the Nut Hut later on in the week and look at that. But look, I mean, this course should play very easy for these guys. We should have a ton of scoring. So you're going to want to look at the guys that are scoring lately, birdie makers, eagle makers. There's going to be a lot of eagles this week. I mean, we even have stats that show us guys that consistently make eagles over a period of time on tour. So that's what I'm looking at, and that's about it.
So I'm looking. I went ahead and got in the Nut Hut real quick here on my phone and pulled up the wind website we all use. I don't see a whole lot right now so far. So I don't know. So this place was built, not built. I'm sorry. This place was not built to be a PGA Tour golf course. When it was designed, it was just a resort
It's
course
a resort course
on the Vegas Strip, right? And so there is really no defense here. This was a last minute switch to this golf course rather than playing it in South Korea, where the CJ Cup is typically supposed to be hosted there on Jeju Island. So, there's not a whole lot of defense to these tour players on this resort course. Okay. I guess they're probably tipping it out at the 7,400 yard mark, which Pat's right there. It's playing at elevation, thin air. It's probably not going to play anywhere near even 7,300 yards. It's probably going to be less than that. So, I think these guys are just going to feast with no wind. And I could see this thing getting into the high 20s potentially.
Yeah.
You give this level of field 4 rounds to go ahead and throw some, be aggressive, make a bunch of birdies and eagles. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for, I think, you're looking for aggressive players that can make birdies, that can make eagles, that have the win equity. And I personally, if I'm picking outrights, I definitely prefer picking someone who has played an event already for this season. So the Fortinet, the Sanderson, the Shriners. This is the 4th event of the PGA Tour season. So I like someone who's already kind of gotten the rust off from the playoffs and the slight little, 1 week break we had. I like somebody that's already gone out there and done that. You got some names here that are making their first appearance since the Ryder Cup, Pat. And I mean, what do you think about the potential hangover for a Ryder Cup player? We saw it last week a little bit with Harris English, although it was all putting. But do you feel like some of these guys coming off the Ryder Cup, having not played, maybe, a lot of the Euro guys went ahead and played the Alfred Dunhill, but some of these American players we have not seen since the Ryder Cup. What do you think about those guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to that. I think historically, and I don't even have it in front of me. So I mean, I'm in the hotel, so I don't have. There's things I don't
He's in
have.
a hotel, people.
There's things I don't have in
He's
front
not
of
in a
me.
shady massage parlor. He's in a hotel.
There's things not here that are normally here.
Yes,
but I feel like over like the last few years after the Ryder Cup, these guys kind of like don't really play all that well, and they're kind of not into it. Takes them a little while to get up to speed. It's not really just the Ryder Cup to me. It's with some of the top players, after the Tour Championship, everything else they got going on, they're going on trips or doing whatever. I just think it takes them a little while to get back into gear. And so I think that's an issue for sure with some of these top guys this week.
yeah, and I think it's well. Actually, we'll get into that here in a minute with the top of the betting board. All right, so one other thing we have to note is we talked about the Nut Hut. I've already been in it while I've been on the show on the Discord app. But in the Nut Hut, we have the crypto and NFT channel where we're talking crypto. I go in there and I said it on the last show. I go in there and do a little peep and Tom, and I just kind of look around. I don't say anything because I don't want to sound stupid. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I go in, I peep and Tom on what I should be buying. And our friends at Kraken are sponsoring the Tour Junkies podcast. So if you're interested in investing into cryptocurrencies but aren't sure where to get started, check out the Kraken app. With Kraken, you can buy and sell over 50 of the most popular cryptos like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, and so on. And you can do it on the go, and you can do it 24/7. It's really easy to get started. You just download the app, create your account. You're investing in minutes, right? One of the coolest things about buying crypto on Kraken is you don't have to have a ton of money. So yeah, Bitcoin may be 40 grand, but you don't have to have 40 grand. You can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin right there on the Kraken to just get your feet wet. Find out for yourself. It's one of the highest rated crypto apps over the last 10 years. They've been around a while. This is not a startup, okay? So visit kraken.com/tour junkies. That's KRAKEN.com/tour junkies to learn more, or search for Kraken in the App Store. Shout out Kraken. All right, Pat, let's talk about some outrights here for the CJ Cup, top of the betting board. Favorites up to 25-1. Now, you definitely want to shop the better, the best books around. We tend to only talk about a few here, but you can go to covers.com and get plenty of other insight on where you could shop around. At the top of this board, though, Pat, I guess, actually, I'm just going to give you one name. There's one name that I could find at 25-1 on, and the better number I found was on PointsBet, and it's none other than Sam Burns. Like,
Ah,
I'm just gonna
shocker.
ride that horse till he bucks me.
Yeah.
Okay, finished first at the Sanderson. Obviously, just won a second tour event just a couple of weeks ago, and he tends to keep it going for a little bit, like once he gets hot. And I think so. We saw him finish 14th at the Shriners. I think he kind of faded on the weekend a little bit. The putter went a little cold on him or whatever, but he finished 14th at the Shriners, but had a chance to even at a certain point. He was near the lead or at the lead for the Shriners. So I think Sunday was kind of rough for him. But I mean, this kid is a killer. He's proven he's a killer, and he's a winner. And at 25-1 at the top of the board in really, I mean, it's a 78-man field, but really and truly, if we're talking outrights, guys that can actually come up and win this golf tournament, you're really talking maybe 60 guys. And even from there, you're narrowing that down greatly beyond that, of guys that actually have like more than a 1% chance of winning this thing. So Sam Burns, for me, at 25-1 on PointsBet is the pick. I mean, I think you can't argue with him. I don't know. I think he just continues to like getting large wire transfers into his bank account on Wednesdays from the tour, and I think he keeps it rolling.
Okay. I don't mind that at all. I mean, you got to kind of ride the hot hand at times, and he has definitely got the hot hand right now. So I like that.
And with the birdie fet, like with you needing to be aggressive and score a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, no one's scoring better than him right now. Like no one. So I think you keep going.
Well, my two in here are at 20-1 and then also 25-1. But at 20-1, Jordan Spieth.
Mm.
You talk about all the guys up top here, and there's several that are much shorter than he is. But if I'm going to get Jordan at 20-1 on a course like this, that we've got some altitude where we know he's not the longest hitter on tour, and he's also not the straightest hitter on tour. But these fairways are wide. I think there's going to be a ton of scoring. He putts extremely well on bent grass greens. I mean, he's third in the field putting on bent grass greens. He's always been good. I mean, like his entire career, he just knows how to putt these greens with whatever undulation they're going to have, which Tom Fazio does put a lot of undulation in his greens. I think Spieth makes a whole lot of sense here at 20-1. I love him this week. I think he's a great bet. I think that's a good number for him. So I'll do that. And then also right there at 25-1, Tony Finau. I mean, look, Finau has been one of those guys where we're always afraid to bet him because we know he doesn't win. But guess what? He really kind of changed that narrative a couple months ago when he won. So it used to be just that he won the Puerto Rico Open and whatever else, and that was it. And every time you bet him, it was just wasted money because he's never going to win. Well, then he goes out and wins the Northern Trust, and and that was just barely over a month and a half ago. I think Tony Finau, in that, I said then when he won that I think that could open the floodgates for more wins. This could be a great week for that. He's just got to keep it up with the scoring, which I think he can do. He's been playing well. So I like Tony Finau there at 25-1.
I like the Finau play. I think that's a good number at 25-1 as well. I like the Finau play. He's obviously Mormon, happily married, with a bunch of kids. I think the Vegas factor plays no role there for him. Similar to Webb last week, except Webb missed the cut. So hopefully Finau, well, there's no cut to miss here. So I think we're good. I do want to talk about a couple more names up here, though, Pat. The first one is a name I think people should stay away from. I talked about this in the last show. It's hard to stay away from a guy up here because it's full of big names, but you have to plant your flag. You can't bet on all these guys, right? You shouldn't, okay? You got to plant your flag somewhere, and I'm planting a flag on avoiding Colin Morikawa. We didn't talk about this in the intro, but there are two names in this field who are known members of this golf club that live in Las Vegas, and that would be Colin Morikawa and young Maverick McNeely. Colin Morikawa at one point held the course record here at the Summit Club with a 62 until Maverick McNeely shot a 61. So it's like, okay, well, Colin's one of the guys that has knowledge of the golf course, familiar, comfortable, hometown, whatever. Shot the course record at one point. And all that's great. But I think because he's Colin Morikawa and because people will see the course record and member narrative, he's going to be a little, he's going to be popular in DFS. And I think in betting, I don't like where he's at in terms of winning. You could see the win coming at the Open Championship. Look at his ball striking leading up to the Open Championship. He was literally positive in strokes gained off the tee, which is harder for him to do because he doesn't hit it very far. He was positive in strokes gained off the tee and in strokes gained approach for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consecutive events leading up to his Open Championship victory. Okay, including a fourth at the U.S. Open and a second at Memorial before that. The form was coming. It was hitting you in between the eyes with Colin Morikawa. Since the Open Championship, he's been terrible. I mean, 26th at the St. Jude, which was a no-cut event, missed cut at the Northern Trust, 63rd at the BMW out of 73 players, and 26th at the Tour Championship out of 30 players. He's negative 1 stroke gained on approach since his U.S. Open win and negative 4.2 strokes off the tee since his U.S. Open win. And I think people are going to think that he's back because he played okay at the Ryder Cup. And I just don't know that the Ryder Cup is the type of event that you need to take that away from, unless you watched all the shots. And even then, it's just a different, it's just a different format. These guys aren't playing it the same way. So in a birdie fest where you need Morikawa on his best behavior with them damn irons, we're not seeing it since the U.S. Open. So I think staying away from him in terms of an outright play makes all the sense in the world. The name I want to ask you about is Rory McIlroy, a guy that you're usually in love with. But I see a question here in the YouTube live chat from our friend Taylor McCutcheon, who, by the way, is now writing a weekly article on TourJunkies.com's blog about things outside of DFS and betting, just kind of random golf culture content. His newest article is up right now talking about the Ryder Cup and talking about Bryson DeChambeau. And will he be able to kind of retain the fandom and love that he got at the Ryder Cup after? So Taylor McCutcheon is now doing some guest writing for us. Great stuff from him. Go check it out on tourjunkies.com blog page. But Taylor asked in the chat, are y'all surprised that Rory is even playing here? He says, I thought he might put down the sticks for months after the Ryder Cup. Thought he was incredibly burned out, as everyone knew, unless you're living under a rock. Rory, for sure, had that interview that was just very candid and very, very heartfelt, but he did sound tired. He sounded worn out. He sounded beat down. He sounded a little bit defeated. So what do you think about Rory this week?
Well, I mean, I don't think Rory is, for one, he's not injured as far as we know, right?
No, I don't think he's
Is he
injured.
injured?
Other than maybe his pride.
He had a bad week at the Ryder Cup. He hasn't had a great season, really, although he did have a win. I mean, he freaking won the Wells Fargo.
Not great by Rory standards.
I'm not surprised he's here. And I actually think this is a good course fit for him. I don't know if he'll win, but it doesn't surprise me that he's playing. I mean, he's a competitive person. Why would we think that because he gave an interview where he was sad because he didn't do he's passionate about the Ryder Cup. He loves the Ryder Cup. He did not perform his best. He felt like he let his team down. And then he gives a very heartfelt interview. And I have a problem with, and I don't have a problem with Taylor. Love you, Taylor. But I have a problem with when we read too much into what these guys say in interviews. Okay. They are professional golfers. They are very competitive and they want to win. As long as Rory is not injured, because he's one of the most skilled golfers on the planet. Okay. As long as he's not injured and he's actually, here, I think he wants to win. And I don't think he's got some mental issues or anything like that. I mean, Rory is just he is telling you like it is when he when he gives an interview, he's
okay, but isn't that a little contradictory to what you just said? He's one of the only ones that does tell you like it is. And I think
he didn't tell you.
You just said don't read too much into it, but I think what he told you is not that he has some mental block or some mental issue or anything. But I think what he told you is he was kind of tired and he was kind of lacking a little bit of motivation.
No, he didn't say he was tired. He said he didn't play his best and he thought he let his team down. He never said he was tired.
Maybe I read into that. I don't know.
I didn't hear that.
I mean, obviously,
I
we
didn't
know
hear that.
this.
I heard that he let his team down and he was upset with how they performed. I don't see that as any reason to like totally jump ship on Rory, who's I think one of the best players in the world. And
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he easily could win this week and shock us all. The thing is, I think the odds suck for him. I wish the odds were a little higher.
Yeah. Where is he at right now? He's 16-1. Yeah. I mean, Rory can win. He's still talented enough. He can win anytime he puts a tee in the ground, which, could definitely happen. I think, I mean, we saw that we saw that a little bit at the at the Wells Fargo. He'd missed 2 cuts prior to that, and then he comes out and wins. But the irons were in a little bit better place. He's been a little lackluster, but we know Rory. This place is built for him. I mean, wide open,
Whew.
short track with
I tell you what.
reachable par fives and par fours. Yeah. So anyway, that's Rory. That's the top of the board. Let's move on.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize where you were going to go this
Well,
direction.
I think it's interesting conversation, interesting debate. Mid-range, I love. I mean, I love this. Obviously, I only had one name in the shorter range. I'm gonna have a hard time narrowing it down. I tell you what I'm gonna do.
See, I only have 2 for you.
Great.
So
I'm gonna let you start, and it'll probably be 2 that I've already got written down, and then I'll make a decision after
no,
that. So,
I bet you don't have one of
oh,
these guys. There's no way you have one of these guys written
okay.
down, but I'm only going to give you
I
2.
mean, I got literally like almost every name in this range written down.
Okay, well,
Go
one
ahead.
is a guy that is I'm going a little longer in this range because we're looking at 26-1 all the way up to 75-1.
Yeah.
Okay. I like Sergio Garcia at 50-1. I
Nope.
I
Don't
think
like that one.
well, what did I just say? I said you weren't gonna have this guy on your
Yeah, I
card.
can't. Yeah, okay.
I like Sergio. I don't necessarily think this is a Sergio type course, which is a ball strikers course, but look, this dude can make putts on this course. He's been playing well lately. I like that about him. We're getting him at 50-1. We've talked about the fact that yes, bombers are going to have an advantage here, but with the elevation and everything else, I think he can score out here. I mean, you look at how he did. We're talking about Ryder Cup with Rory. How about Ryder Cup with Sergio?
Yeah.
He was fantastic. Now, just when you thought that John Rahm was carrying the team, he came through with some damn good shots and looked very good at the Ryder Cup. And it's not just there. I mean, he's had some good finishes lately on tour. So it's not like that. It's like out of nowhere that he could play well this week. I mean, hell, last year nobody thought he could play well, and then he wins the Sanderson Farms in the fall.
Yeah.
So there you go. And then HV3 at 70-1. I love that for him. Harold Varner III. I think this is a great spot for him, a great course for him, and big fan at 70-1. So those are the 2 guys that I'll give you here.
HV3 is another interesting one. I mean, we talked a little bit about it on the DraftKings show. He's coming off having a baby. I literally think his wife had a baby yesterday, which was Sunday. I think it was either Saturday or Sunday.
That's fantastic. That's
which is,
perfect.
you got the nappy factor. Some people may say, well, is he going to be thinking about his wife? Is he going to be tired? What are we going to, he has been playing great, and he doesn't get a whole lot of at bats at these no cut, guaranteed money hit and giggle competitions. The question is, do we think he's going to break through and win his first PGA Tour event at a field as strong as this one? I think probably not. I like him a little more in DFS than I do in betting, but yeah. Well, damn it. You didn't name any player that I had written down here. So that means I have to do a lot of narrowing down quickly. So at the short end of this range, so that up to 75-1, but longer than 25, I think I'm going to say, I think Louis gets it done, which is, I mean, talk about betting a guy outright to that never wins. Welcome to Louis Oosthuizen. But I mean, he came so close. Obviously, we saw it all year last year. He had one of his best years on the PGA Tour. I mean, multiple runner-ups, incredible stuff. Comes out after the Tour Championship, has a month off, comes to the Shriners last week and doesn't skip a beat ball striking. Just gains a ton of strokes on approach, off the tee, around the green. The putter was cold, and it was one of his colder weeks with the putter, and he was probably the best putter on the PGA Tour last year. So do I think that continues to happen? No, I do not. I think he picks it up. He gains strokes on bent grass greens. He's still showing that he's one of the premier ball strikers in the game of golf. And like we kept saying, Tony Finau would never win again, or win a real event. Nobody says it's going to happen until it happens. So Louis at 28-1 on PointsBet. After that, I guess I'll go into the back end of this range. I love I love young Aaron Wise, who is
Mm.
playing really well, who is a bomber off the tee. He's gonna get take it deep. All right,
Why
ball
do you
strike.
call him young Aaron Wise? Like,
Because
there's a
he is
lot
young.
of people his age. He's
I
like
know,
that
but he
sounds.
looks boyish. He looks
Yeah,
boyish.
I was about to say there's got to be a reason you say young
To
Aaron
me, he just
Wise.
looks like a boy. My bad. I mean, that's not an insult. I mean, good for him. He just looks younger than some of these other guys. But anyway, Uh, finished 8th at the Shriners. I mean, he's been playing super solid, since really the middle of the summer. He's been playing solid. Ball striking, everything's there. He is a PGA Tour winner. It's been a while. It's been a while, but he's been in contention. He has been in contention. So Aaron Wise is at 60 to 1 on points bet. I like that. Uh, and then I'm gonna go with Si Woo at 65 to 1. I'm wearing the t-shirt tonight.
See, woo!
I mean, listen, did he have a little stumble last week? Yes, he did at the Shriners, but it wasn't he didn't scramble like he normally does. He had his worst strokes gain around the green uh day or tournament, 2 days, than he's had since August of 2019. Like Sung Jae is one of the best scramblers on the PGA Tour, and he had his worst 2 rounds since August 2019. And he still didn't hit the ball great, but that's why he missed the cut. Before that, he was an 8th and 11th place finish at the first 2 events of the season. So I think Sung Jae could bounce back here. I love that this is a place where you got to be aggressive. You hit it long off the tee, you score. That's what Sung Jae does. So I'm in on Sung Jae at 65 to 1 on DraftKings. There's other names in here, so we'll just have to see how DB's Big Balls betting card rounds out at the end of the week. But I love this range. All right, moving on. Up to 125 to 1, Pat. I only
Mm,
have well, I tell you what. I'm going to give one name and then I'm going to let you go because I don't want to steal your thunder like I did on the DFS show. I got a feeling we got the same name here.
yeah, we got the
But
same name.
the name for me is on repeat, and it's Maverick McNeely. It is the current course record holder at the Summit Club, Las Vegas resident, and the kid is playing great. Okay, he's 4th in this field in the last 24 rounds on strokes gained par 5 scoring. His iron play is improving. He hits it plenty long off the tee. He's a great total driver of the ball. The distance and accuracy is there for Mav. He's a tremendous putter, and he's been close to that first win. He has been close. A runner-up at the Fortinet. We saw him contend at the RBC back in the spring. Runner-up at the AT&T Pro-Am. Like, he's one of those. If I pick a young guy like this, I like to pick a guy who has been in it late on Sunday and has felt the heat of battle, you know, and he has. So I think every time he gets closer, he's going to be better at closing the door. And at 80 to 1 on DraftKings, I think Mav's the play.
Okay. I don't mind that. I've got a few for you here, and I think one of them you're gonna just actually. I think everybody is gonna be 100% against me, and then
Mm.
two you might like. But I'll start with Keegan Bradley at excuse me, at 100 to 1. I like Keegan Bradley. I mean, you look at his stats. I mean, checks the box off the tee, top 10 in both approach and opportunities gained, which is a scoring stat we like to look at. So I think Keegan Bradley is a good play there at 100 to 1.
He's
Another.
130 to 1 on DraftKings, by the way.
Oh wow. Okay. Well.
So I would have him in the next range. Yes.
Okay. Well
I,
then.
I like the play.
Well then, I'll go with Johnny Vegas. Is
Yeah,
also
there it
100
is.
to 1.
There it
Love
is.
some Johnny Vegas here. Top 5 in the field off the tee, 14th in approach, top 10 in birdie or better percentage, top 15 in par 5 scoring. I mean, you want to look at Eagles. I mean, he even checks a box in Eagles gained. He is a top 15 in that area. So Johnny Vegas at 100 to 1, I think makes a lot of sense. I
I
love
like
him.
that. I like that one.
So yeah, I guess Keegan. I was looking at a pretty poor number there, which happens. That's why you got to go to sites like Covers and things like that. You want to
Yeah, there
get
you go.
some.
Look,
Um,
look at you.
but anyway, here's a number I know you're not going to like, but I'm still going to bet it. I don't care because I don't think you're going to get Jason Day at a higher
Oh,
number ever than 90 to 1. 90 to 1, Jason Day. I'm going with Jason Day. I'm
okay.
taking a flyer on it. I think that who knows what can happen. Who knows?
Pat, what
Losing my voice.
sorry book are you looking at?
Mm.
He's 130 to 1 on DraftKings.
Is he really?
Yes. What are you looking at?
Okay, I want 130 to 1 Jason Day.
God, dog. I hate him. I hate him as bad at 130 to 1.
No, I like him even more. Love him even more.
Pat, to win.
130 to 1 to win. I'll take it.
I mean, you're just gonna give up all the units you just won from the Sungjae.
I don't care. I'm up from Sungjae.
Jason Day has not won since May of 2018.
I don't care. He wins this week. He wins.
Okay, how about this? I get to pick someone at 130 to 1 or longer, also on DraftKings, to go up against Jason Day, and we make a bet.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
But they got to be at the same number. Yeah, same number or longer.
Here's a guy the exact same number. Cameron Davis, Aussie versus Aussie.
Okay, let's do it.
Yes. Yes. I thought you liked Cameron Davis a little bit.
I don't care. I don't care. I am that confident in Jason Day that I'm going to take him over Cam Davis.
Okay. Love this bet. Aussie versus Aussie. Old Aussie with like 11 kids versus young Aussie Cam Davis, who I think is recently married and will not respond to any of my Instagram DMs asking him to come on our podcast, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, let's do this, Pat. We did not plan on spinning the betting wheel on tonight's show. We were going to save that for, January and February when people start giving a rip about this podcast again when NFL's over. But I think we spin the betting wheel. Producer Sam has it always by his side. I say we spin the betting wheel, and oh, look at that. Look at this. What an operation. This is great. Okay. There's the high-end betting wheel.
Wow, it's not even centered.
That we have.
That's gonna drive me crazy.
That drives Pat crazy. Okay, Pat, do we just do better finish position? That's it? Like closest to, because we're talking outrights here. Just
it's an outright, so it's just got to be better finish position.
Better finish position. Is there any tiebreaker if they both finish like T30? Any tiebreaker?
Tiebreaker would be most birdies.
Birdies are better, or just birdies? Like birdies and eagles. Birdies are better.
Yeah, birdies are better. Yeah.
Okay, most birdies are better as a tiebreaker. All right, here's what is on the betting wheel. We've added some new things. Here's what we have. The baby food challenge. Edward 40 hands, where one of us would have to tape a 40 ounce to our hand and keep it there the whole show until we finish the drink. A ranch water shot. A Brooks and Dunn TikTok dance, which I really hope you'd get to do. A full Halloween mask show. So we have to wear a full-on mask for an entire show. The shoe shot, taking a shot out of the shoe. A ranch water ×2, so double the ranch water shot. That makes me gag a little bit. Spicy pepper challenge. Prank call the next venue. We would record that, play it here on the show, where we prank call the next golf course hosting a PGA Tour event. And finally, you eat out a pumpkin. And
can you explain that one?
You gotta get in there and
eat a pumpkin.
Scoop a pumpkin.
Like eat a pumpkin, an uncooked pumpkin.
Yeah, you do a pumpkin uncooked.
Okay,
that's what you gotta do. All right, dear Lord, producer Sam, if you will spin.
Producer Sam, please.
I'm dying here. Eat out a pumpkin.
Here we go.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I hope it's not eat a pumpkin.
That's a vigorous spin, and it is.
Oh, it's baby food challenge. We almost got eat pumpkin. Should I just push it over?
No, you can't do that, Sam.
I really don't want to eat the baby. I swear to you, I would rather eat out a pumpkin than do a scoop of baby food. The baby food thing.
Can it be any baby food? Did we decide, or is it just like?
I don't know, man. I struggle with I struggled feeding my kids baby food. I really don't want that.
Okay. Well, I hope you.
There it is. There's the bet. Cam Davis versus Jason Day. I have never felt more confident in a bet in my life. By the way, if Jason Day withdraws, you lose. If he withdraws, you lose.
I get it. I knew that going into it. You don't have to explain that to me.
All right. Is that all you have in that range?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I basically went into the other
Yeah,
range.
you did. No wonder you had so many in this range because you weren't freaking line shopping.
How was I supposed to line shop when I'm at the Braves game all day today? I was just looking at one.
People don't be like Pat.
Yeah, don't go to do other things. Like live your life.
Don't do other things. Well, yeah. Man, we were one slight rotation away from one of us eating out a pumpkin.
Eat a pumpkin.
Gosh. Okay. Sam is really upset we did not land on that.
Well, he was also like, now I know why Sam needs his mic muted most of the show.
Yeah. All right. Cam Davis is one of my favorites in this range. Speaking of that, he's one of my favorites over 125 to 1. You get him on the 4 par 5s, you get him on short par 4s he can drive, and the play is trending now. His best surface is bent grass putting surfaces, which is normally where he tends to have an issue anyway. And he's a bomber. He scores on these par 5s. Like, look at him. And last week at the Shriners, 2.5 strokes gained off the tee, 3.5 almost gained on approach. And now he comes to his best putting surface. I love Cam Davis at 130 to 1. You mentioned him earlier. I agree with you on Keegan Bradley. I like that call. I got one more like super bomb, Pat. It's almost as bomb as you can get out here, other than picking one of the guys that qualified on the Korean tour to be here. But Hudson Swafford is 300 to 1 on DraftKings. He's 300 to 1. Now, he finished second at Congaree, which you were there. Congaree's a Tom Fazio course. We obviously picked him to win back at the Corrales Punta Cana a year ago. So maybe we can rekindle some of that magic. And he kind of picked up some form again at the Northern Trust. And during the playoffs, Northern Trust and BMW, he grabbed a little bit of form. Started off the new season, miscut, 56th last week. But he's positive off the tee, positive on approach, missing it on the putter. But he gained strokes with the flat stick on bent grass as a whole. Listen, 300 to 1. I mean, that guy's probably not winning in this field. But that kind of leads me to some top 20s at least. He's 25 to 1. Or sorry, top 10s. He's 25 to 1 to finish top 10. I think that's doable. And that's a big number. So I like looking at the top 10s. We're going to talk top 10s here in this field since the field's kind of cut in half from what we normally do. So I think the odds are somewhat more equivalent to a top 20 bet. But Swafford at 25 to 1 and 300 to 1 outright, like just throw a little fractional unit on Swafford at 300 to 1. He's a proven winner on the PGA Tour. It'd be bananas if that happened, by the way. Absolute almost as bananas as Jason Day beating Cam Davis in a golf tournament right now.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Other top 10s. Pat, you want to start kind of like with your shortest number and kind of work me down to some top 10s you're kind of looking at early?
Yeah. We'll look at a few top 10s here that I like. I think, here's the thing with top 10s. I like to get at least a little value. Feel like I'm not just like
always good. Yeah. Always
betting some sort of, head to head, getting, plus 110 or something like that. But if I'm looking at top 10, some of the ones that I like right out the gate, Harris English plus 275, might be able to get, I'm just looking at one book, may be able to get that at a better number somewhere else. But I like Harris English. As a top 10 there at plus 275. Another guy, right there, a little like Mark Leishman, plus 350, top 10. He's got 2 straight top 5 finishes. Yeah. Why can't he make it 3 straight and get a top 10 plus 350 there at Mark Leishman? I like that number there. And then I'll give you one more and I'll let you go. Another guy that I think has just been, very consistent lately. When you look at just the way he's been playing all year long, just solid, like across the board, week in and week out. Maybe not, he's not winning golf tournaments, but I think top 10 is just, definitely in the realm of possibility. Cameron Tringali. We haven't even talked about him at all this week, but he's at plus 150. I like that number there.
There's so much to talk about with Cameron Tringali. I could do a whole show on Cameron Tringali. Good Lord. I like him a lot, and I pick him a lot. But, man, put it together for 4 rounds, man. A golf tournament's 4 rounds. Jeez.
I'm just talking top 10 though. I'm not
I know,
saying
man. I know. I'm working through my own internal struggles with Cameron Tringali at the moment. All right. Up top, a guy I haven't talked about on this show, but I talked about him extensively on the DFS shows, Victor Hovland. He's plus 240 to finish top 10. I mean, Hovland, the ball striking has been I think he gained over almost 11 strokes off the tee and approach last week, but still finished 44th because he had a horrendous around the green week. And that was pretty much it. So I love Hovland. Plus 240 is a top 20. You know, Maverick McNeely 6-1, top 20. I like that. I like I'm sorry, top 10. I keep saying top 20. Top 10. I like Wise plus 450 to top 10. So those are a few. Yeah, that's probably it. But I do have one other name I want to give you here at the end. Let him hang predictions, Pat. I got one. Do you have a let him hang prediction?
Yeah, I have one.
By the way, I think last week again, my 2 football legs of the let him hang prediction hit, and the golf part did not. I think. I don't remember.
The golf one's harder to hit, but
Golf one's harder to hit.
I've got one.
Okay, mine's gonna be another little 3-way parlay. Another 3-way parlay here with golf and football. Victor Hovland, just talked about him, top 10 plus 240. Okay. I'm rolling with Bama minus 17.5 over Mississippi State. Bama coming off a loss. I know Mississippi State's supposed to be decent, and they're at Mississippi State. I don't care. Bama coming off a loss. I will take the points. Minus 17.5 on Bama. You could probably get a better number if you check covers.com, but I'll take Bama to cover that all day long. And then Ole Miss to cover -3 versus Tennessee. A couple SEC battles, and I know Tennessee's hot right now. Tennessee's coming in off 2 big wins, but I think they could be a little fraudulent. And I'm looking at Tennessee, the other wins they've had, the games that they've lost. Looking at Ole Miss, I think Ole Miss covers this game even against Tennessee at home. So that 3-way parlay would give you a plus 1167. So almost 12-1 there.
Okay. I don't mind. It's good. I mean, you come up with some crazy ones here.
How do you feel about my Bama cover and my Ole Miss cover?
I think you're right. I think they both cover. I like those. I
feel better about the Bama one. I feel better about the Bama one if I'm honest, but I like them both.
Who was the golf play in there?
Hovland top 10 plus 240.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to give you one. This is a little bit longer shot, but I feel really good about this one. Okay. All right. So the golf play is going to be Keegan Bradley as a top 10, and he's 9-1 to top 10 for Keegan.
Oof.
Which I think that's a pretty good number in itself.
Yeah.
If you just want to go Keegan 9-1. But here's what I'm going to do. Thursday night, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady's been fantastic. He's coming off one of his best games of his career against the Miami Dolphins. They slaughtered them, okay? They're going against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles are at home, coming off a win over the Panthers on the road, which I think was a very good win for them because I think the Panthers are kind of sneaky good, especially their defense. So they're at plus 250 on the money line, Philadelphia Eagles plus 250. So I'm going to go with the money line. I'm not even going to take the points. I'm going to go money line Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday night, along with Keegan Bradley to top 10 at 9-1. That's going to give you 34-1 on that parlay. So I'm going to take both of those bets. That's going to be the let them hang play of the week.
I like that. That is a let them hang prediction. I really like that.
Look, here, anything can happen in the NFL. It's happening right now while we're talking. The Colts are beating the Ravens at home, at the Ravens.
Baltimore. Yeah.
Like, we didn't even think that would happen. No. I feel like sometimes with the Patriots, not the Patriots, I say the Patriots, but I mean Tom Brady. I think sometimes they kind of, like, he has some letdown games. That could happen this week after a huge week, last week. And he's on the road.
You said week like 6 times in one sentence. That's all I heard.
Week. Anyway.
Yeah.
Eagles money line, Keegan Bradley top 10, 34-1.
I like that. I like that. I might bet that myself. Love it. All right, Pat. Let's we got our last segment tonight. Now, this is a new segment presented by our friends at Covers, obviously. We're going to kind of give you the early leans and picks recap, okay? Hold on. What? Jeez. Producer Sam.
Pay attention, Sam.
Pay attention, Sam. All right, presented by covers.com. We're going to give you our early leans and picks recap. So we mentioned a bunch of names here, okay? We mentioned a bunch of names tonight. We're going to tell you the names in just a couple minutes here that we like the most, and we think you need to jump on the line now if you can find that number or better now because it could get shorter. A few outrights and a couple top 10s for me, Pat. My favorite outrights that I've mentioned so far would be Louis at 28-1. I'm down with Louis winning. I think he finally gets it done on a PGA Tour event that's not a major. 28-1, Louis, I'll take it. 60-1, Aaron Wise in hot form. 65-1, Siwoo Kim. Love Siwoo coming in good form. Stumbled a little bit last week, but aggressive player, long off the tee. He's going to be just fine. I'm not worried about the miscut last week. Not at all. And Maverick McNeely at 80-1, current course record holder at the Summit Club, fellow member here at the Summit Club with Colin Morikawa. He's at 80-1 outright and has been knocking on the door. Bang, bang. Maverick McNeely's been knocking on the door. What if the young kid gets it done here against this big big field here? This is a lot of big names here. So I like those are probably the four outrights that I look at the number and I think Louis' number is going to get shorter, and I think McNeely's number is for sure going to get shorter as more people kind of come onto that. And then I got two picks at a top 10 number. The first one is Aaron Wise, and it's top 10 at plus 450, and then Maverick McNeely at 6-1. I'm doubling down on Wise and Mav. Those are two guys I really, really like coming in here, both showing good form, both hit it long enough, aggressive young players who can score in bunches, and that's what it's going to take to win here at this event that I think we could see 25, 28 under win this freaking golf tournament with no wind in Vegas. So those are probably the favorite picks I think you need to jump on right now.
All right, for me, I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth at 20-1, and then also Tony Finau at 25-1. I like those two a lot this week, the shorter numbers. And we have seen typically in these World Golf Championship events, even though I know it's not a WGC event, but it's a no-cut field and whatever else, that the cream does rise to the top. So I do like some of the shorter numbers. But so Jordan and Tony Finau, 20-1 and 25-1, I like
that thing, I bet.
I like HV3, Harold Varner III there at 70-1. I think that's a great number for him. So I will play him. And then a couple long shots for me. Johnny Vegas at 100-1. I think that is a great number. And then who was the other one?
I like the Vegas number too.
Sorry. Johnny Vegas at 100-1, and then Keegan Bradley at 130-1. I'll go on top of that, Keegan Bradley at 9-1, who I just mentioned in my my let him hang play. I think that 9-1 bet for top 10 is good for him. And then if you're looking at just top 10s, Harris English plus 275. I think that's a great number for a top 10 bet for him. And then another one I'll go with Mark Leishman 3.5-1 plus 350 there. I like that as well.
I don't know that I remember seeing you have this much affection for Keegan Bradley in the past.
Yeah, it's a big.
Normally, I'm a Keegan guy, and you're kind of like, eh. I like
Keegan week for me.
I like Keegan this week too, so I think there's agreement there. That's good. That's solid. There you go. That is the early leans kind of picks favorites there, presented by our friends at Covers. Check out covers.com. That's where you get started with all the betting process that you need to be a winner. Okay. Thanks to Covers. Thanks you guys for supporting the podcast. We appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great week for the CJ Cup. We'll be back next week. Thanks. See you.
Oh.